All right, we are live. Greetings, fellow traders. Let me get this tweet out here so everybody can join in. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Make sure the sound's coming through. Okay, good, good, good. All right. Well, I hope everybody had a great trading day today, and happy Monday. I mean Tuesday. So it was Monday 2.0, right? So it was one of those days, right? So definitely the market had a case of the Tuesdays, right? So a day after vacation, and it was an interesting day, right? So we had some big moves last week on Thursday and Friday, and today was a bit of a choppy day, right? So we'll take a look at that in a little bit. In fact, there was some Elliott wave action today, which we'll take a look at too when we go through the price action. Anyway, today we're going to be continuing our discussion on day trading Elliott wave. And today we're going to be profiling Tesla. So cool stuff there. Before we get started though, everything we're going to talk about today is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look and see where we left off the market here today. Then we're going to take a look at the futures and see what we might have setting up going into tomorrow. And then we're going to take a look at the topic, and then we'll go through questions and chart requests. So let's get started. All right. So let's take a look here. So SPX. Monthly chart down 95 points today, right? So that was a little bit rough, right? Now, half of that came from the gap, right? So we'll take a look at that when we look at the futures in a little bit right here. But we've pulled back below the upper Bollinger Band here on the monthly chart, so it's turned into a pretty nasty red candle here. We actually have an open gap on the monthly chart, which corresponds to the open gap on the weekly chart here, which also corresponds to an open gap on the daily chart. So it's kind of looking like an interesting target right here. Now, what have we been talking about the last couple of weeks, right? We've been talking about coming into this cloud canyon right here and could start to cause some volatility, right? And we're starting to see that, right? We saw last week, big red spinning top candle. Today, red so far, right? I'm not saying we're going to come down and test this. It's possible, but we'll see, what type of action we get going on into the next couple weeks. So it could be pretty interesting there. Let's take a look at the daily chart. So daily chart, okay, interesting. So Friday we held the prior all-time high level right here. We bounced off of that and kind of held. Today we gapped down below those levels and we pushed below the trend box today. Right, I haven't shifted the trend box down. Right now we're kind of looking at a potential trend reversal. The only tricky thing right here, right, is if you go to SPY. If you go to SPY, right, we have it as probably a bad tick here. Well, anyway, we'll see. It's probably a bad tick up there on the SPY. But anyway, the volume declining. Right, so it could be a low volume fake out. We may give a little bit of a push down, and we really just have to see how we handle this 50-day moving average here, right around this 330 area, 329 area. So we'll see how that goes going into tomorrow, right? But we are definitely in a very interesting area right here in the market. Let's take a look at the intraday price action here. So you can see it was a pretty choppy day today. Right, so I mean, we basically were kind of contained within the 15-order range right here. Now, there were some trades today. It definitely wasn't as epic as the down move on Thursday, and then that beautiful down move on Friday, and then the beautiful reversal on Friday, right? We were just kind of really choppy right here. And we'll take a look at the S&P futures and show you kind of why we thought we were going to chop today using Elliott wave. So we'll take a look at that in a second, and then we'll take a look at Tesla. So anyway, so here today, again, these are the levels that we provide our members for each market opening. See how valuable they were, right? Obviously, the 15 orb comes into play nicely here. We did catch a short here off of this. It really didn't get much movement, right? This one here was a little bit tough. This one here was really, really nice. It was tough to get an entry on this one, but using some pullback strategies, right, you can kind of get in this and try to ride that down. Here we ended up filling the prior closing gap below, another level we provide to our members. We bounce off of that, right? Oftentimes we see bounces off of closing gaps. Nice move there. Then we came back down and grabbed it at the end of the day. Okay, so let's take a look at the S&P futures and see what we're talking about here. So that being said, this is what happened, right? So going into today. Now, if you guys follow on the anybody who's not a member, right, and you follow along on the public Twitter, we don't show as much as we do in the group, but we do give some really good insight into the market, right, on the Twitter. And so last night, right, so kind of coming into coming into today, we were kind of riding up in this channel, right? So things were looking pretty good, and then we broke down here this morning. That was a key breakdown on this one, right? So, and then pre-market, right, from about 4 a.m. all the way down here up until the open, we had what looks like a nice impulsive wave down, right? That is definitely a sharp wave down, so I would call that a significant wave, use an Elliott wave, right? So now, however you want to do the calculations, that one could be interesting, right? So here, we could have said maybe this is wave 1, wave 2, and then we had kind of a, by the guideline of alternation, right, we had a small wave 2, so we have a big wave 4, so that is possible the way things are looking right now. But what we were expecting going in today was a corrective pattern. Right, so especially once we bounced, right? Once we bounced, and again, one of the things that we can use using Elliott waves, so here's a technique, right, that y'all should be aware of, is that impulsive waves and corrective waves tend to stay within channels, right? So basically trend lines, channels, things like that. So our impulsive wave down was like this here this morning, right, going into the market open, right? And you can see here that we eventually broke out of that this morning, and so once that happened, once we cracked that, then there was a good suspicion that we would be putting in a corrective pattern or an ABC pattern here today, right? And so so that's exactly what we got, right? So, and not surprising after a big move the last couple days, but this is what brought us down. This was the gap down today, and then this was the chop, right? So it was a corrective wave pattern today. So we had an A, B, C, right? So an ABC, right? 3, 3, 5, ABC, ABC. So 3, 3, and then 5. You can squeeze a 5 in here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So I gave you a C, and then once that was done, right, we could anticipate another impulsive move down, and that kind of gave us a good push here back into the 15-orb range, gave us a nice move down right here, and then we started to correct again, right? Because if you put a channel through this, right, you can see here a very, very tight channel. Right. Once we cracked out of that, then we figured that we'd go into a corrective pattern right here, and so it ended up being, right, so A, B, C, right, and then we started just kind of chopping right here. This could be a small wave 1, 2, right? Remember, triangles can only be in a wave B or a wave 4. So in here, it actually makes sense for a wave B, wave 1 to A, B triangle, right? And then C, hit the top of the triangle, and then down, right? So we were expecting the futures to kind of push down a little bit here, at least, going into the futures session. But what we said at the live stream at the close today is that we just, bearish going into the open of futures, but where we end up tomorrow, who knows, right? And so we've already kind of cracked out of this this wave pattern right here this evening, right? So you can kind of, if you start your wave right here, right, and you do your channel on this one, right? So you're kind of doing this this impulsive move down here, right? We cracked out of that this evening, and now we're kind of starting a potentially a fresh trend back up. And it kind of makes sense, right? Because on the SPX, if you go here on the SPX, right, you can see, if you go back to the daily chart here, right? So this this last move up, right, could be a from the June lows here, from here, let's go June 15th, from here, right, to here. Right, about a 382 pullback, right? So we're kind of, not a bad area for a momentum, just a kind of reversal, nice 382 pullback, and we could be working our way back to all-time highs. So it's a very, very interesting area here in the market. We'll see where we open tomorrow, but it could be interesting, right, to see if we can start to push up. Right now, the real question is, right, what kind of corrective wave is this? If this was an impulsive move up, right, which obviously it is, are we going to be a zigzag down 5, ABC 3, and then 5, and then come back down again? So we could push, right, and then come back down, tag the cloud, and then start going again, right? So it's tricky area. There's a lot of different counts you can use here, but right now we're just going to kind of just follow price right here and not gamble on it, right? So until things are clear. If we had a little bit more volume today, I think it could have been an interesting overnight short to possibly come down and test the 50-day and possibly continue to work its way down the cloud. But right now, without that volume, this could just be a fresh trend box low, and then we just go from there. Okay, good stuff. All right, so today we're gonna we've already touched on a little bit Elliott wave right here, but today we're gonna profile another name. We're gonna profile Tesla, and we're gonna take a look at Tesla and show a really cool recent example on Elliott wave with Tesla for an intraday trade. So let's take a look at there. Let's go to Tesla. Let's go back a couple days. I believe this happened not too long ago, where we had a really big green day up right here. I believe this is the 31st, right? So that was back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 days. So let's go to let's go to a 1-minute chart, and we'll go back 5 days on that one. Okay, so we'll go here, and we'll go, and I may already have it labeled. So we'll go here, give it a second. So we'll get this, and then we'll go here, and then did I switch that back over? Good. Okay, and then we'll go here, and we'll go back. We'll go back 5 days and see if that pops up on the chart right here. and see if we get some move here. Yep, 31st. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so on these days, right, where things are really strong, right? We talked about weakness yesterday when we were going over the SPY and the SPX, and the S&P futures, right? Because we saw those down moves here. But when things are strong, right, we can look at things the other direction too, right? Because we get these impulsive waves up. And so sometimes you see these things move at the open. You're like, okay, I know this thing is bullish. I know the volume is going up. How do I get in this thing, right? So yeah, you could wait. You could look for an inside 5, inside 15. Try trade that way. But what I like about Elliott Wave is a lot of times it gives you these nice pullback areas using Fibonacci to catch these moves, right? And it helps you really evaluate these counts. I'm going to switch this to the bar chart. I really prefer doing Elliott Wave with bar charts. It just kind of makes this kind of nice, clear price action. So here you can see, right, we had a nice move at the open, right? And things started going up right here. So but what I really like about it is if you remember the rules of Elliott Wave that we talked about yesterday, right? The one of the first rules is, right, that wave 1, that wave 2 is never going to, as a rule, is never going to go down past the start of wave 1, right? So if this was wave 1 up, wave 2 down, that is an invalid wave. That is not wave 2 because it crossed over that wave 1 low right there, right? So what we would want to see is a pullback. Now, it can go back almost 100% retrace. In fact, it can tag it to the tick as long as it doesn't go below it, right? And then it can work its way up. And remember, the next rule is wave 3 can't be the shortest wave, right? So just assume here in this case that it's bigger than wave 1, right? So once it's bigger than wave 1, automatically it's not the shortest wave, so you're good to go there. The next rule is wave 4 will not go through the range of wave 1. So if it goes down here, no, bad wave. If it stays up here above wave 1, the end of wave 1, you're good, right? And then after that, you've got your wave 5, and wave 5s can be truncated, but oftentimes we do see wave 5s get another push to the upside, right? So that's the idea with that. So what happened here on Tesla on August 31st? Well, the cool thing about Tesla on August 31st, right, is that we had a big push to the upside at the open, right? Nice impulsive move, right? And then it had a horrible pullback. That's why we like to trade wave 3, wave 5, and wave C. Right? The reason that we like to trade wave 3 and wave 5 is because wave 1 is kind of tough to tell what's happening, right? We want to look for clues to see if wave 3 is actually setting up, right? So here with Tesla at the open, look at this. We had a beautiful impulsive move to the upside. Look at that pullback, right? Almost 100% retrace, but it didn't do it, right? So that's your first clue that, hey, wait a second, that was a strong move at the open. We didn't retrace the full way, and then boom, we got a nice move right here, right, with increasing volume, and very, very possibly are working on a wave 3 up, right? And we did, right? So that was 1, 2, and then we go, boom, nice move up here for a wave 3 off of this. Now you can enter off of this candle, right, because that's a bullish candle, a good entry candle right there, but you got to deal with the pullback. But why do that when you can grab a pullback off of it, right? So if that's the start of wave 3, right, wave 3s are subwaves as well. So there's your wave 1, wave 2, and if you just kind of just zoom in here, what happened? I lost it. All right, so if you just kind of zoom in here, right, you do a Fibonacci off of this one, right, you go off of this this first push off of wave 3, you can buy a retrace off of this as well, right? And you can see what retrace that was. Look at this, perfect right here. Look at that, right down to the 618 off of that, boom, that breakout candle. You don't have to jump in right away, especially if it pulls back. Wait for the 618 pullback. Now, this could have been a good 382 potential on this one, too, and you wouldn't have been as down as here. But look at that, 618 retrace, and then boom, see ya, this thing's ready to go, right? And then it takes out the wave 1 high and just continues to work its way up. Okay, so that's great. So if you can catch that wave 3, fantastic. You got a nice trade off of that one, right? But what I really love about this is this was really strong. This was wave 3. So where is the wave 5? Oh my goodness, you guys, this is so funny. Like, so Siri, I said something to get Siri going, and she's saying, like, she's talking about Fibonacci right here, 618 pullbacks, all that stuff. So thank you for writing that. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, so Tesla, right? So what did it do right here? So you got your wave 3 right here. So at this point now, we can look for an ABC pullback. But what I love about this is once it started to pull back, is our favorite momentum move, and in fact, wave 4s tend to be 382 pullbacks, right? Is you can find your wave 5 by finding your pullback to the 382, right, off of this next impulsive move, and then to catch wave 5, right? So already we know this is a valid wave count so far, right? Because we have wave 1, wave 2 never intersected the beginning of wave 1. Wave 3 is definitely not the shortest wave, right? Because it was pretty close to, definitely exceeded the length of wave 1. So we're expecting a wave 5 somewhere, right? And oftentimes those wave 5s happen off of the 382 pullbacks, right? So you get this move right here, and then we pull back to the 382. Oh, look at this. what a great entry possibility right here. Look at this. You have a key reversal candle right here, right? You break down below the lows of the prior candle, and then you close back in over the prior close of that as a key reversal setup. And then boom, right? Really starts to work its way up, right? Look at this. It even gives you a quick little pullback right here of a macro wave, right? So you start right here, right? About a 618 pullback, and then see ya, right? This thing was ready to go, right? So boom. I would even say here like 1, 2. Subwave 3, 4. It's got a little bit more, and this thing just launched there for a massive wave 5. This count is valid, right? So a very, very nice move up there for a beautiful wave 5 up, and this is where you can catch great moves on names like Tesla that are setting up here pre-market. Even though, like, you think the move might be over right here, look for that 382 pullback for potential wave 4, and then boom, see a wave 5, and have a nice day, right? So that was just a beautiful move right there, and then no need to worry about the rest of the chop, right? Gives sort of ABC correction, is kind of ground its way up for the rest of the day, right? So really nice stuff. So this is a great one to look at for names like Tesla. A lot of these momentum names that we keep on our go-to list do this stuff at the open, right? So really, really cool stuff. I mean, we could go through this. We could go examples like all day long, right? So I mean, Roku did it today. Really nice move on Roku. Let's go back to the one day, 1 minute, right? So today, Roku again, 1, ABC 2, right? 3, 4, 5, gave a nice move up, and they got a little bit of follow through the upside here on Roku today too. So again, this stuff happens all the time, and it's just a beautiful way to trade. It's a way to add confidence into where you're at in the price action on an intraday basis. So anyway, guys, a little bit of extra time on that one. So hopefully you guys found that helpful. At this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in the chat window, and we'll get through as many as we can and try to wrap up as early as possible so we can all get a good night's sleep and have another awesome trading day tomorrow. And hopefully we'll get out of this choppy mess for a little bit and get a little bit of action. So we'll see where we go from there. So good stuff. So Shirley sent in a few in via email. Shirley, there was a few in there that are just a little bit too obscure, so I just went with kind of the bigger name movers, and that have been pretty hot recently, and so these were looking pretty good, and these are fun to trade with options sometimes too, right? So Nikola, right? So Nikola, nice gap up today, guys. Pretty interesting stuff. So I like how they're teaming up with General Motors, right? Giving them a nice gap up, and really kind of adds, to the value proposition of General Motors, right? General Motors actually had some call activity recently as well. Unusual call activity as well, which is something that we mentioned to our members in our morning news, and pretty cool stuff there, right? So Nikola, right, kind of just gave this nice little geometric line right here. We gapped above it today, got a bit of a gap and go here today, and this really helped a lot. It was tricky with the pre-market levels, but this really helped a lot of the other names like Workhorse, Neo, things like that, also in the electric vehicle space, right? So it got into the cloud right here, big upper shadow today. So let's see if we can get some follow through the upside on that one. It is gapping up. It's up about 60 cents after hours. So let's see if that can push out, get out of this cloud right here, and try to work its way back up again. Really, really neat stuff on Nikola today. ANTM. Anthem, breaking down pretty hard right here. Good volume to the downside. In fact, that looks good enough to put on the bearish radar. Keep an eye on these names right here, right? AZN, AstraZeneca, like they had to stop their trial because somebody got sick using it for their COVID vaccine, unexpected. So they're waiting for some more like tests and all that stuff to check out the safety of it, right? So watch out for these biotech names tomorrow. SWKS, great. So another semiconductor name, pretty much got hammered today as well. Lost the 50-day moving average. A lot of these gaps were kind of professional gaps, right? So if we had a green candle right there, it would have been professional. And then we gapped down and we got a little bit of push to the downside. Now, just got to be careful. We've seen a lot of declining volume on these down moves today. So once again, we just really need to look for follow through, right? To see what kind of move we get. If we do break down tomorrow, we could lose the cloud. And obviously there's a lot of open gaps below on this one too. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I mean, good stuff, Shirley. Really, really appreciate it. And of course, everybody, thanks everybody for keeping Shirley in your thoughts and prayers as she's doing better all the time. So good stuff, guys. Really appreciate it. So good. And what else? We've also got Mike. What's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, kind of glad you hosted it. Mostly stood aside for a few days. Right, exactly. Today was a good day to sideline, unless you're really into finding those kind of nitty-gritty moves. Right, you can find some moves today. There was some trades today, but it was tricky. Today's a good day. A lot of folks in the group, we encourage folks to sideline if they're not comfortable trading in the chop. But some interesting moves today for sure. But let's take a look. Yeah, see what we got. So let's look at Apple. So pretty interesting. NASDAQ futures are up 71 points tonight. So we'll see what that does with tech here going into tomorrow. Lots of inside days with some of our big names, right? So inside day here closing into Friday's lows. Big upper shadow off of that too. So again, we just really need to see how Apple handles this inside day. If things take a change overnight and things get real rough, watch Apple tomorrow, right? Big push to the downside on the inside day. Could see a gap fill here and could eventually see a gap fill down here, right? So that's looking interesting, right? So that's something definitely to keep on the radar. Mr. Softy, Microsoft. Yeah, pretty rough right there. Again, would have liked to have seen a little more volume on that one too, but I like how it pierced the cloud. But again, a lot of these ones, just watch out for these lower volume fake outs, right? And then GLD. Gold. All right, finally perked up a little bit there. It ended up finishing down 35 cents, but a nice bounce off the 50-day moving average and still had a green candle. Let's see if we can get over that 8-day moving average and see where it goes from there. Good stuff. Awesome, man. Appreciate it. Almo, what's going on? Good to see you. Hope you are well. Thanks for tuning in. So we got RCL. Yeah, so a lot of these names today. We saw IWM was actually pretty decent today, right? The Russell. And a lot of times these cruise lines, airlines, things like that, can... sometimes they give some nice moves today, right? So the cruise lines were strong this morning. Of course, they kind of flushed after hours. But let's see if we can get kind of get and stay over that 200-day moving average and start going again. Disney perked up this morning as well. Ended up finishing the day green. Bit of an upper shadow right here. It's got some work to do to get over these recent highs. But it gave a beautiful move at the open today. Something that members pointed out this morning too today on Disney. So good stuff there. I can't wait till Mandalorian comes out. LVGO inside day, right? A lot of names had inside days today. Again, kind of pause, kind of choppy names, right? We talked to Elliott Wave on this one recently, right? A, B, C, very possible right here on the downside. So let's see how it holds, and then see if we can get some confirmation, maybe an inside day up to kind of get this thing going back up again. And yeah, my pleasure. Thank you so much. Thanks for being a part of it and for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Royal, what's going on? Hope you had a great day today too. Yeah, relentlessly. Is there any respite? Maybe. We'll see. They're trying to buy it up a little bit here at the futures here after hours. So let's see if they can start to work that. Maybe we get a gap up tomorrow and then they squeeze up, right? So that would be a possibility. And let's take a look at CWH. So Camping World. Yeah, nice little green day today, right? A little bit upper shadow there off the top of the cloud, but let's look at that and see if we can get pushed through today's highs and see if that can get going again. Overstock. Now, Overstock's been getting clobbered, right? We talked about that as soon as it got out of the trend box right here, right? We had a breakdown here as well, a little bit of follow through the downside inside day with a low shadow, an upper shadow on that one. So just kind of see how it holds the cloud right here. It looks like we filled this gap on Friday, and let's just kind of see how that goes going into tomorrow. But kind of nasty stuff under the 50-day moving average, right? A little bit tricky on that one. Nvidia. Right, so Nvidia, pretty interesting. Obviously, nasty down day today, but it is holding its upward trend line. Let's see if I can get it up here. So here's your upward trend line here from the lows, and it is holding that for now. So let's see if that's just a low volume fake out on the downside today on Nvidia. If it is, then we might see a nice push up on that. And then Nvidia, inside day today, down day, kind of holding the cloud right here again, back below the geometric line. So just see how it holds the inside day levels going into tomorrow. Good stuff. Thanks, Royal Bagash. What's going on? Good evening. Yeah, let's take a look at the NQ. Yes, the NQ looking strong here tonight. Not great and amazing, right? But check it out on the daily chart right here, right? We face planted into the 50-day moving average today, pushed down a little bit after hours, right? And it is trying to work its way back up here this evening. So let's see how it goes, right? Again, very, very similar type of price action from the S&P futures today. Down move, more of like an ABC type pullback, kind of expanded flat. Another wave down right here. So let's see how this holds going into the rest of the night, right? I like how it got over today's 15-warp range. Let's see. They've really got to push these things hard going into tomorrow to kind of invalidate wave counts and show that they want to try to push this thing up. Let's take a look at Zoom. Yeah, it's definitely a good one to look at right here. So not quite an inside day today, but still eyeing this open gap below. I like the Southern Doji there below the 80 MA. Low volume, but if things are weak, keep an eye on Zoom for a possible gap fill attempt. It's got some gaps above now too. Netflix, big inside day there, holding the cloud, holding the 50-day moving average. So kind of got to see how that one holds going into tomorrow too. Could be interesting. And interesting about Tesla, right? Tesla. So face plant also in the 50-day moving average. But look at this, right? Nice bump line. Here's your macro trend line right here. This guy, right? Bump line off of this one, right? So remember we kept on saying, hey, this thing's getting extended over the bump line. Wow, big move down and right at it right here. So this could be very interesting for a potential reversal tomorrow. So definitely keep an eye on Tesla. I'm actually going to put it on the bullish radar. I'm gonna put it on the bullish radar for tomorrow, just for that bump line bounce. Of course, right? Bump lines are bump and run, right? So you bump and then you run down to the next one. So we'll see how it goes, but it needs to bounce here. So again, it had a high volume right here. It's very, very risky, but let's see if it can give a reversal tomorrow. If it does, it could squeeze out some shorts, right? Maybe they'll get some good news tomorrow or something like that. So that'd be cool. But yeah, it also didn't help that like GM is now becoming with Nikola might become a big competitor of Tesla a little bit more. So we'll see how that goes. Good stuff, ZEK. What's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Let's say SDC. Yeah, nice move on SDC, guys. This thing is really starting to show some strength, right? So I like the SDC. I'm going to put that on the strong radar for tomorrow too. I like the candle right there. Obviously, upper shadows and all that stuff, but a nice relative strength going into today. You got to like it. Good, and then Snap. Let's take a look at Snap. Yeah, Snap with a big inside day today, and I'm still ended up closing green. I'm up 25 cents on that one, and then Coop. Do you want Mr. Cooper? You want this one right here, the little bit breakout of Mr. Cooper group here. Good volume, right? Big upper shadow, or do you want Coupa Software, which has earnings, right? I believe tonight, didn't they? Yeah, earnings tonight. So again, just kind of chopping around there too. So there's two Coops for you. Good stuff. Rocky, what's going on? STNG. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, STNG, nice move on that one. Scorpio Tankers. A little bit of resistance there at the daily cloud, so a little bit of caution on that one. ALBO, Biotech name. Wow, big gap up on that one and an epic reversal of that one, right? So, some pretty cool stuff. If it breaks down below those lows, look for that gap below. It might want to kind of mess with that a little bit. And then Codex. Dude, Kodak, wow, big candle on that one as well. Down a little bit after hours, might be on some of the AstraZeneca news. So just a little caution with the biotechs going in tomorrow. Robin, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you are doing great. Thank you. Sebastian, what's happening? Good evening. Good to see you. Thanks for making it. Matt, what's happening? Quick question. How do you find good entries on a 15 orb breakout? Okay. So, you got to have a something that's gapping on some news, right? And, something that kind of makes sense. Boeing would be one to definitely have on the radar today. It waited. It really couldn't do a breakout today, right? But you just kind of had to see the relative weakness on it, right? So sometimes you just have to wait to see how these form, right, before they make a move. And there's still money to be made on a little bit of a breakdown right there, but sometimes they hold it, right? That's a big line in the sand right there. So to find good breakouts, you really have to, there's a couple different, things you could do. Really, you want to see a nice gap. You want to see some volume, and a lot of times, like we say, is you don't necessarily have to buy the initial break. A lot of times we like to look for the pullback, right, to see if we can get like a push down and then a pullback to retest it and then a move too, because a lot of times that can give can help as well. So they don't always work on an initial breakout, right? But a lot of times, it just depends on the volume, depends on the news, and depends on the relative strength. Because another thing you do, right, as well, right, is you kind of go and look at what we're looking at on maybe like an hourly chart or larger candle right here, right? So at this point, right, so that 15 orb kind of held itself. If we had like a shooting star type candle off of that, right, we might see a big move, right? So you can see here on Boeing, we had a huge shooting star on the hourly chart. This was 3 days ago on the 3rd, right? So if we go back there on the 3rd, right, here, right? So you can see here on the 3rd, right? You had that big shooting star candle, and here's your 15 orb level right here. That is a little bit more interesting, right? When you can have those larger term candles help kind of show you that, hey, this thing's really looking to break out, right? So that is a helpful tool as well. So look at the larger time frames and see what they're doing. Good stuff, Alexander. What's going on? Good to see you. Yeah, let's take a look at LLY. Let's take a look at LLY. Let's go to the daily chart. Double inside day. So this could be very interesting, especially with the AstraZeneca news. Just kind of see if it gives see how it breaks out between those levels. Is it good for a swing? Which way? I don't know. It's tough, right? It's double inside day. We don't know which way it's going to go yet. But right, if we can break out of the double inside day with some clarity, it might give a little bit of a move. It's a tricky name, so a little bit tricky right there. But I wouldn't do anything right now because it's paused, right? We don't know which way it's going to go. Right, so let's see. Let's look for a breakout and some confirmation and some volume. Justin, what's going on? Good evening. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. And Mike, what's happening? Everything is awesome. Everything is cool. Anyway, so Nasdaq's up a little bit, so that's good. Good stuff. So Gio, what's going on? PayPal. Let's take a look. So PayPal, big inside day off of that one, closed below the 50-day moving average, right? Again, we saw a lot of inside days today, right? So we got to look at those breakouts, breakdowns, see how those are going. Docu down to the 50-day moving average, see how that holds on that one, pretty nasty off of that. Work, guys, earnings after hours, rough, gapping down to about 23 right now. So it's looking like we're going to open right there. Okay, so it actually had better than expected earnings, and if it can't push below these levels, we might see a reversal up on work. So that's definitely one to keep an eye on going into tomorrow. JP Morgan, again, keep an eye on the pre-market levels. JP Morgan, again, nasty pullback on the banks here, right? So might come back, test the 50-day moving average on that one. Definitely on the radar here today. AMD, again, inside days, same type of stuff right there. Again, it's right next to the bump line, so see how that holds. TTD, same stuff, inside day into the cloud. So breakdown below there, could try to see the bottom of the cloud. BBY, hanging in there after, I believe, good earnings, right? Didn't it have decent earnings? Yeah, decent earnings on that one. So hanging in there. Let's look and see if there's a viable dip here. I like how it kind of held this congestion level right here as potential support, and and it finished with a green candle, so that's a good thing. And then MA. Yep, inside day on that one too. So again, watch all these inside days, see which way they break. Right, if the market's weak and these inside days break, we could see some strong moves to the downside tomorrow. Abhijit, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, Boeing, right? So today is interesting on Boeing, right? So it finally kind of got below the triangle area right here. You could do like a larger geometric line. Let's take a look here. If you go from the recent lows, 89 low, which is also a Fibonacci number, guys. Don't think they don't put them on everywhere they could go, right? So yeah, so break down below multiple geometric lines right here with some volume, right? So Boeing, I think, can be on the short radar for tomorrow. That could be interesting, right? So we're definitely going to be looking at that. What else? Good stuff. Great stuff. Thanks for tuning in. Sebastian, awesome. Do you have any book recommendations to expand your knowledge of chart patterns and Elliott waves? So it depends where you want to start, right? So you could buy the book by Prechter on Elliott wave. It's kind of like the textbook on it. It's a little bit rough. There's a book out there by Steve Sinclair. I think you can get it free on Kindle. Let me give you a link to that one. Steve Sinclair, Elliott Wave. I think it does a great job of explaining it pretty easily. Very, very sensible. Gives some examples and uses some tools. Let me put the link there on this one. I'm not compensated for this, so yeah, you can get it for $0 on Kindle, and I think you can also download on the Elliott Wave website too, the Elliott Wave book there for free. But I think that he does a great job explaining it. He gives some cool examples, and he shows you some tools that you can use to help some indicators that you can use to help to see if your Elliott wave count is looking good. So check that out there, and then of course keep following us on Twitter. Paul on Twitter too, who I follow. He does a lot of great wave counts and stuff like that, and we do it in the group too. We got a whole Elliott wave channel on our Discord. So good stuff there. Matthew, what's going on? Any opinions on what you'll watch for Amazon tomorrow? And also, Uber. That's an interesting one too. That was a good one. So Amazon, the big levels here, right? You got your 50-day moving average. This inside day levels right here are going to be big, right? If we break down below the inside day levels right here, you got Friday's low, 31.11, right? And then you got the cloud right down here at 30, just say 30.30, right? So those are some big levels right here. If you break out the upside, right, that's obviously a big level right here. Today's high, 32.50. A push above there, you got the 8-day at 33.35. So some interesting levels on that one. Again, guys, Amazon's a tricky one to trade, right? So it's a little bit of stuff there. Now, Uber is still contained within a macro triangle right here. It did give a big push intraday today, right? Just couldn't get any follow through, but they had some good news, like GM giving them credits for driving electric vehicles or something like that. So that could be interesting too. So good stuff. Yeah, Sebastian, Microsoft in the dip, and it was so good. Nice. Yeah, so good stuff there today. Yeah, Microsoft, again, a couple nice opportunities here. Nice dip buy right there, right? And then obviously it lost its geometric levels here and then broke down below the 15 orb for a little bit. Retested the 15 orb. So earlier, guys, Matt, you were asking about the 15 orb, right? There's a breakout right there, but then that retest, it can be awesome, right? So that gives you a nice 2-candle move to the downside, right? So nice job on that one. Sure, good evening. Yeah, so Facebook, let's take a look. Take a look. It's in Facebook. All right. So Southern Doji today, again, huge range down here, right? So very, very consolidated range right here. If you go to the weekly chart, right? Prior double inside weak range right here. So there is some potential support in that area, right? So let's just kind of see how it holds. If the market gets strong tomorrow, Facebook could use that as support and try to work its way back up. AYX. again, software sector got hit a little bit again, guys. It gave a nice range breakout, get to the 200-day, rejected the 200-day twice, and kind of came back down to that range, and then it left you with an inside day today. So yeah, so watch it if it takes the inside day down and takes out Friday's lows. That's kind of where it's kind of like the theme of the night. Watch it. Watch the inside day break. Watch Friday's lows. Right, so big stuff right there. JP Morgan again, pull back off the prior geometric line, back into the cloud. Possible eyeing the 50-day below. Guys, oil was weak today, right? That was one of the things we mentioned on the game plan. But we mentioned Oxy on the downside today, but most of the oil names are pretty weak going into today. And again, today some news, decreased demand and all that stuff. So all the oil names are just kind of getting clobbered today. So nice stuff there. And then Intel. Yeah, nice breakdown on Intel as well. Decreasing volume, right? But nice continuation shooting star candle off of that too. So beautiful stuff as it comes back into the prior range. Good stuff, Michael. What's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Piton. Let's take a look. So Piton, yeah, I mean it. It pedaled its way back up today. It got almost back up to all-time highs. Really incredible stuff here at the open, right? Nice push at the open, right? So if you kind of zoom in a little bit here, right? So here you go. Here's your impulsive wave that we talked about. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and then it, kind of a choppy wave 5 up, right? So again, just more cool Elliott wave stuff there with the Piton today. So really nice stuff there. Let's see if we get some follow. Big upper shadow today, a little bit tricky there, but we'll see where it goes from there. Trader, what's going on? Good to see you. Thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate your support. Docu, let's take a look. Yep, so Docu down to the 50-day moving average right here. It's kind of holding in the cloud, the 50-day. It's in a pretty good area right here. It might consolidate for a little bit. And we'll see if it gives a little push to the upside. CRM, again, welcome to the Dow getting clobbered, right? So it's tough, right? We need to see if it can defend this gap. Increase volume, closing on the lows, big open gap below. Right, so if software sector is weak tomorrow, like Microsoft is down, right, watch CRM, a huge gap to the downside on that one. Just watch out on CRM. Could be very interesting. Wow, nice find on that one. AMD, yeah, AMD squared, right? So AMD, same stuff, guys. Inside day, right? If it breaks on the inside day, watch Friday's lows. Breaks on Friday's lows, you lose the bump line right here, and then you got a nice open gap below, which corresponds right with the 50-day. So very, very interesting there. And then Facebook. Again, same stuff, right? So watch these support levels right here. You got a lot of congestion in that area. Let's see if it holds this support. And then Cherry VR, yeah, CWH. Everyone loves CWH. So decent move up. Green day today, good volume. Watch your upper shadow on that one. And then GOL. Okay, so GOL with a push out of the cloud right there, a bit of an upper shadow. Gold. Kind of see how it holds those areas there. Let's see if we get a little geometric line on this one right here. It's trying to break out of some levels. We got to watch this one too. Right, upper shadow off of that. So just a little watch out, a little careful on that one. So good stuff. Zach, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're doing well. Thank you. PSTG. Yeah, so upper shadow there today. Not quite. It doesn't look like it closed with an inside day. Must have pushed it just a little bit below. Again, just hanging in there. Again, watch these lows. If they push down below there, right, you could see, potentially, kind of this area, 1372 area. So could be good there. Truth, what's happening? Good to see you. Big C, the Big C. How are we doing on the Big C right here? We got earnings coming up tomorrow after hours, right? So kind of choppy range day like everything else. Again, it did take that pennant down, retest, and then push its way back down again today. And really, we just got to see what it does here for earnings. Could be very interesting. And then pins. Pins with a big upper shadow today, had some relative strength at the open, kind of pulled back a little bit, right, with the rest of the market, but beautiful up move this morning. Again, you kind of zoom into this a little bit right here, right, you can see, right, this one didn't do a full pullback there, wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What a beautiful Elliott wave move here this morning at the open. If you see strength on this one, look for those pullbacks. Let's take a look at the percent retrace here off of this. Right, boom, right there off the 382 for a wave 2 pullback, right? And then this move right here, 236, right? So even less than that, right? Really strong on Pinterest today. Great find. Good. Now, left was a big upper shadow today, so it's a little bit tough going in tomorrow. But either than that, it was a beautiful day trade. And then Pry, what's going on? Good to see you. Good. How about AAL? Yeah, so how about that? The airlines today, just, basically, just some increased travel, right? That news came out, gave it a little bit of a boost today. Just couldn't get over those geometric levels today. So again, really it needs some more volume. Needs to push over these highs. And then so Workhorse. Again, same stuff, right? So, what do we always say, right? It'll break your heart. It'll break your heart, right? So, it was so strong today. Pushed over all-time highs, right? Gave a big move today, intraday, right? Strong moves at the open. It was just like, right? So, just kind of be careful with that one. Left you with a big upper shadow on that. So good stuff. Tracy, what's going on? You made it. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, so Roku, again, beautiful move at the open today. Again, left you with a big upper shadow, too, with like a lot of the names here today. But it did do a nice little Elliott wave move up this morning, for some viable pullbacks to kind of catch a piece of it. And then beyond, right? I guess it had some big news today, but it's like the same news. Like I thought they were already teaming up with Starbucks in Asia, but I guess it was more about Starbucks in Asia today. So it was enough to get Beyond going today. Here's a 15-hour breakout right here, Matt. So this is it breaks out right here. There's your retest of the 15 orb high, and then see ya. Have a nice day, right? You want this kind of strength, right? And then a nice pullback to there is just gives a beautiful move, right? You go to the 5-minute chart as well, right? So double inside 5 up, right? Gives that move up here. Right, so off of this move right here, and that was a 236 retrace to the 15 orb high, and then just gave a nice push off of that there. So good stuff. Jameis, hey, thanks so much. Really appreciate your support, and thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate everybody being here this evening. It's been a great discussion so far on Elliott Wave. I hope you guys have found it helpful. I really appreciate you being here. If you're new here, definitely click subscribe on YouTube. Whether you're new here or not, please hit the like button. We always appreciate it. Even if you're watching the recording, it goes a long way. Be sure to check out the links in our description, and hope everybody has a wonderful evening. We'll catch you guys bright and early on the Good Morning Market Prep. We put other videos out on YouTube, so be sure to hit the notification button, and we'll see you guys then. Everybody have a wonderful evening. Stay healthy out there, and remember your risk first and stay safe.